Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Well, I just got finished watching James Cameron's Terminator from 1984. Now, I've seen this in the cinema on a couple of occasions. I've never seen it on film, as in 35mm in the cinema. But I saw a sort of private viewing for my stag do. I managed to rent out the film. If you didn't know you could do that. There are some cinemas, I think mostly Everyman Cinema, the chain. You can rent out DCPs, digital cinema packages. And obviously the more of you that go to the viewing, the cheaper your tickets will be. Back when I did it, it was about £160 for the film. But hey, in a small screen with 16 of us in there watching Terminator, what a great experience. I've also seen it as a double bill with Terminator 2, and that was a great experience as well. That was a couple of years ago, but I have now just watched it on 4K. Wow, I am really impressed. I know the thumbnail was a bit of a, but hey, I had to. So I would place bets that this is as close to what it looked like in the 80s when people went to the cinema to see it. Now the grain, it's hard to tell whether it's grain or whether it's image noise from whatever they've done to this. I don't know what they've done to it, and you know what, I don't care, because it looked brilliant. It looked amazing. It really felt like I was in a cinema back in the 80s watching it for the first time. I really did get those vibes from it. Obviously the music and all that helps, and the costumes and everything, and just the whole aesthetics of the film in the first place. But wow, yeah, I could safely say I've seen this now for the first time, and I've seen it properly. So I got this today. It's Monday the 18th of November. Now I understand that there was some pressing issues or some kind of backlog at the plant, and the slip covers might be quite rare. And I don't know if that's just the case for the US ones, or whether it's the UK ones as well, or the rest of the world. I don't know, but I managed to get mine with a slip. I was really pleased. I hope you do too. I hope you get your slips. But yes, I do understand there was a bit of an issue with, so the US slips I think will be pretty limited. But anyway, wow, yeah, I've got some images to show you. I haven't done any comparison pictures with any previous Blu-ray, because there's other great picture comparison videos out there. My Moonization will be one of the channels that does a great thing like that. It's not that I'm going to stop doing it. I just wanted to get on camera and just give you my immediate thoughts on what I've just seen. And yeah, like I said, feels like I've seen it for the first time. So one thing I distinctly remember about having watched it before, and that was kind of the green tealy hue around streetlights when it was nighttime. All that's gone. Now, whether it's because that's what the film stock was like and they've just corrected that now in the digital realm, I don't know. I would need to see an actual 35mm presentation of the film to gauge that. But I do remember each time I've seen the film that, and many other American films and night scenes, and sort of a teal hue around streetlights. So again, maybe that's just always the way it's shown up on home media or broadcast media. And maybe if you see it on 35mm film, that doesn't show up. But here, the shot I'm really thinking of is quite early on, when I think Reese has just appeared, and there's a shot down the street. The road is wet. They do that to help with depth of field. And I was looking at the street lights expecting to see this kind of teal look, and no, it wasn't there. It was just white street lights. The picture is lovely. Like I said, there is so much detail. Yes, there may have been a few bits where I thought it looked a little bit sort of fluffy, but you know what? Actually, a lot of that was the way the film was shot in the first place. So if you were to compare the same shots to the 35mm film or the negatives, it would be like that anyway. It doesn't scream DNR to me. It doesn't. Now, what I will do at some point for myself is compare this 4K to Terminator 2 4K, which I got recently, and you know, and that way I can at least see what this heavily DNR'd, because I haven't got around to doing that yet. I know what Predator looked like when I've seen it on Blu-ray, and so I know how waxy this heavy DNR thing looks, but I'm not seeing any of that here. There was too much detail, not just in close-ups, but in general, in any aspect of it. The special effects looked great. They sat nicely in the image. Blowing it up on my screen here. Especially when the Terminator is working his way down the corridor and they're just getting into the machine factory right near the end. That looked absolutely amazing. All the red shots, you know, these ones where this from the Terminator's POV, you know, they look great. And I love that. Such a simple kind of technique nowadays. Anyway, back then it was, you know, quite the special effect, I suppose. And I know there was a specific special effect house that did that. But yeah, just a great film. Things I noticed now, like I said, I've seen this on the big screen a couple of times. And when we were at my stag do, it was like a 30 or 50 seater cinema, and you know, to us the screen was massive, so you could really gauge what's going on. But my perspective sat 2.5 meters away from my screen, which is 106 inch. I could see the barcode on Reese's arm, just as he was getting up from having come through the time portal. And I didn't really remember noticing that before, and I wasn't looking out for it either. It was just there, and it's like, oh yeah, I can see the barcode and all that kind of thing. So I was noticing more that I hadn't seen before. And yes, it's just me on my own sat here, and this lovely projector. And yeah, I just had a brilliant time watching this film. It's definitely an 11 out of 10 film. You know, it's that good. I prefer it over Terminator 2. I just always have done. I prefer the really stripped back, just the single Terminator. And Arnold Schwarzenegger does an absolutely brilliant job of playing the Terminator, the T-101. Even when the Terminator is stripped of all the flesh and everything, and he gets out the fire, you kind of still feel like you're watching Arnie, because of the way Arnie moved as a Terminator, and you know, the puppetry used to move the full-scale model. What must it have been like to act against that? You know, a lot of these films nowadays, you're told what you're looking at, but to actually see a T-101 in front of you, not for all the shots, I know, but for some of the shots, to be able to act with it, essentially. And yeah, what a ride. You know, this film, it's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? It starts off pretty sort of slow, you know, a little bit dark. I love the whole bin truck scene, and if I haven't said this already, the sound of this 4K is absolutely amazing. I turned it up pretty loud, and I have heard this film sound pretty damn good before, but I was megally impressed. with the steering of the sounds around the sound field, and the placement of the sounds. And now I don't have overhead speakers, but when the HKs are flying over you at the beginning, I could hear them above me. So what an astounding mix they've done for this. I'd like to hear it with the overhead speakers, but the Atmos, just wow. You know, that's how you do an Atmos mix. And I was only watching it in 7.1. So yeah, you know, I'm missing a couple of channels, aren't I? But I can't say much more about this, to be honest. It's just a brilliant film. And you know, Warner Brothers, I was a little bit surprised that it was coming from Warner Brothers, but that's, you know, that's a great thing. The fact it's originally an MGM film. God, wouldn't it be nice to have them back, hey, making films again for us. But yeah, whatever they've been allowed to do, how much James Cameron's been involved in getting this 4K, I don't know. And like I said, I kind of don't care. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's Terminator at its best, and we can now have this in our homes. So you might see some of these shots, and again, because my phone's obviously not taking pictures at the resolution that our eyes can see, it's concentrating the colors and probably making them a little bit skewed to what I was actually seeing on the screen. And then again, if you're watching the film on your TV, if it's a 50-inch, a 60, an 85-inch, it's going to concentrate the colors. It's not until you get sort of to 100 inches and above, where the picture desaturates ever so slightly, because it's supposed to. They're supposed to be obviously blown up on a massive screen. You see them in the cinema. So you know, you might think, well, why does it look like this? And but again, it's just because you're concentrating the image to a very small postage stamp compared to the cinema screen. You know, even my screen is a bit of a postage stamp compared to a 30-foot cinema screen. So yes, you're concentrating the colors and you're making the image very saturated. Now, I can only do HDR10, so I haven't seen it in Dolby Vision. But I imagine the colors are much more vibrant with the Dolby Vision. I imagine the black levels, the contrast is better. Now, the one time I have experienced Dolby Vision, and that was when I went to check once upon a time in the West on my father-in-law's LG OLED, and I found the Dolby Vision looked waxy. And this is where I think a lot of YouTube channels are getting this whole idea that the image has been DNR'd, because I felt when I swapped from HDR10 to Dolby Vision that suddenly the image had this kind of waxy look to it and looked like it had been DNR'd. But go back to HDR10 and it doesn't look like that. So when I do my reviews, and like I said, all I can do is HDR10, and if there's no HDR10 metadata, then I just get standard HDR. I don't get this waxy look. I don't get this heavily DNR'd look that some people report. So that's something I want to explore at a later date, when I can get better access to something that can do Dolby Vision. Or maybe more time around my father-in-law's watching his telly, then you know, I can perhaps give you a more in-depth view as to what I think is going on. But anyway, so this doesn't go on too long. We're talking about Terminator, James Cameron's Terminator from 1984, starring Michael Biehn, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton. What a brilliant film. What, like I said, a roller coaster, an exciting roller coaster, and one that I'd get on any time. and it stands the test of time. If you want a trip back to the 80s, get yourself a projector, get yourself a nice big screen in your room, and put on Terminator, and you'll be transported right back to the 80s. What a wonderful experience. So anyway, I hope you like the images. I hope you like my review. Please give me a thumbs up. I'm now gone over the 1,000 subscribers mark, so let's keep building on that and getting more and more, and building the channel. You know, the more interaction I have with you guys, the more comments, the more likes and thumbs up and everything, that encourages me. You know, doesn't always happen, so sometimes I get a bit sort of put down and don't want to do anything, but I needed to do this video because that was a brilliant experience. I hope you get yours. I hope you enjoy watching it on your setup, and yeah, anyway, take it easy.